There are awesome cameras, there are cool cameras, but the Nikon F is insanely a legend. Prior to its release in 1959, Leica, the German camera, was the most famous cameras, which was a rangefinder. But when the Nikon F was released in 1959, it was a game changer. It may not be the first single lens reflex camera or SLR as we know it, but the Nikon F placed the SLR to the next level. The letter F in Nikon F was selected from the term reflex, since the pronunciation of the letter R is not available in any Asian languages. Once the Nikon F was released in the market, it was the first 35mm SLR system which is to be widely used and adopted by professionals, photographers, especially photojournalists covering the Vietnam War.
Good afternoon guys, this is Dong. Now this afternoon we have here this Nikon F, one of those famous and iconic SLR of the century. This one started all, especially when this was released in 1959 by Nikon Japan. And this is so famous that this one was used by the US NASA when they went to the outer space during the 60s. And I have already loaded here a black and white film, ISO 400, and we'll try to see how this one fares because I'm really excited to use this afternoon because I've returned back to the analog photography because I was also into digital photography back then, but things is quite so relatively easy for me to use that, and therefore I want something that is quite complicated as this one. But be that as it may be complicated, but this one is one of those cameras that we all love and we all love to use before.
The first Nikon F photomic viewfinder delivered since 1962 had an independent photocell. Then Nikon produced the Photomic T, which featured through the lens metering.
As we all know that this Nikon F is a manually operated camera, and therefore there is no need for you to put any battery here, except of course with the metering that you have to place two 1.5 batteries for you to get a correct reading of the lights available outside. So if you will look into this Nikon F, we have here the shutter selector, and of course your aperture right here, and of course your focusing ring. Basically everything is operated manually, and unlike in a digital camera, everything is set to automatic. You have the aperture priority, you have the shutter priority, and you have the program. So everything is already very easy, and therefore there is no need for you to take a look into the intricacies of the camera. But this one, Nikon F, is one that we all need to realize that in this world of digital photography, there is still Nikon F that stands and will always be here with us. Well, unlike in a digital camera, you have their available aperture priority, shutter priority, program. Everything is so laid out that it's very easy for you to use, and there's no need for you to get into the nitty-gritty of this digital camera. But this one, you have to have time for you to analyze and study and master each and every button and rewind and everything, and therefore you have to be intentional as far as this analog camera is concerned. You have to get your subject right there and allow them to stand and just to think and try to compose yourself.
The Nikon F Mount is a type of interchangeable lens mount developed by Nikon for its 35mm format single lens reflex cameras. The F Mount was first introduced on the Nikon F cameras in 1958. It must be noted, however, that the combination of design elements made the Nikon F successful. It had interchangeable prisms and focusing screens. The camera had a depth of field preview button as found on the right side. The mirror had lock-up capability. It had a large bayonet mount and a large lens release button. The Nikon F is a purely mechanical machine, solidly built which was all assembled by hand. It is built like a tank. It is not light. In fact, if the Nikon F is strapped into your neck, you can probably feel that your neck will sore for a longer period of time. It is interesting to find out that how many shots were taken by this Nikon F, considering that this machine is roughly 60 years old. However, even if how many shots had been taken and how this camera had been used and abused, it's still working properly as it should be. A work of art, a precision instrument. By the way, just a simple trivia. Remember that photographer, the name of Don McCollin? While he was taking pictures during the Vietnam War, he was accidentally shot by one of those soldiers, and take note that the Nikon F saved him, and the bullet struck the Nikon F and it literally saved his life. Take note that Nikon F is first of everything. First motorized SLRs, 100% finder, mirror lockup, lots and lots of lenses available during the time in the market. A choice of different prisms as available back then. There is also an optional waist lever finder. However, the best option is the eye level finder with the iconic F proudly displayed in front of the camera. Unfortunately, since collectors are opting for the eye lever finder, this is now becoming a collector's item, and therefore it is now difficult for you to source one on the market. Using the Nikon F SLR, you can always say that you're always in control of everything. You focus it manually, set your own aperture speed in conjunction with the correct aperture opening. Perhaps the Nikon F is the best SLR cameras that was ever built. However, since these cameras are old, this must be CLA'd, meaning cleaned, lubricated, and adjusted. Do keep it in mind that having a good maintenance will probably give your Nikon F another 60 years or so of hard work and lots of memories for you to treasure. Perhaps this is the best SLR camera that was ever built. We have to respect it. And by respecting it, we don't have to display it on our cabinet. We have to use it as it should be.